सरस्वते गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादे पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा शिवशदि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna devotees, today we are going to see 5.27 and 28. Yeah. Sparshan kritva bahirбhayams चक्षुश्चैवान्तरे भ्रुवो प्राणापानौ समौ कृत्वा नासाभ्यन्तरचारिणौ यतेन्द्रियमनोबुद्धिर्मुनिर्मोक्षपरायणा विगतेच्छाभयक्रोधो यः सदा मुक्त एव सः स्पर्शान् कृत्वा बहिर्बाह्यां चक्षुश्चैवान्तरे भ्रुवो प्राणापानौ समौ कृत्वा नासाभ्यन्तरचारिणौ यतेन्द्रियमनोबुद्धिर्मुनिर्मोक्षपरायणा विगतेच्छाभयक्रोधो यः सदा मुक्त एव सः. Translation. Shutting out all external sense objects, keeping the eyes and vision concentrated between the two eyebrows, suspending the inward and outward breaths within the nostrils, and thus controlling the mind, senses, and intelligence, the transcendentalist, aiming at becoming at liberation, becomes free from desire, fear, and anger. One who is always in this state is certainly liberated. Kalini Mataji, do you want to read the shloka once?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Bhagavad Gita 5.27 and 28. I will read one verse and give chance to other person, Mataji.
Sure, Mataji. Yeah,
Thank you, Mataji.
thank you.
Bhagavad Gita 5.27. Sparshan kritva bahir bahyams chakshushchaivantare bravo chakshushchaivantare bhruvoho pranapanau samau kritva nasabhyantaracharinav. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Prabhuji, do you want to read Prabhu? Suresh Prabhu? 828. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
This one, right? Sparshan kritva
The next
bahirbahyam
The next
chakshurchaivantari bhruvo
Prabhuji, you're muted.
pranapanos. Okay, I'm on mute, Mataji.
Oh, now we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do go one second. Sorry.
Prabhuji.
Sparshan kritva bahirbahyam chakshurchaivantari bhruvo pranapanau samau kritva नास्याभ्यन्तरचारिणौ यतेन्द्रियमनोबुद्धिर् मुनिर्मोक्षपरायणः विगतेच्छाभयक्रोधो यः सदा मुक्त एव सः.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So till now, Krishna has spoken how to attain the Supreme, right? How? By using the complete knowledge of the Supreme. He has explained us all these things. Now, he's talking about, he's really not going into the depth. He's talking about Ashtanga Yoga. He's giving a glimpse of it, just a small gearing up of Ashtanga Yoga, because he's going to talk about Ashtanga Yoga in detail in the 6th chapter. He's giving a small glimpse. So here Krishna is saying, Sparshan kritva bahir bahyams. So, the one who follows, the one who does this Ashtanga Yoga, what does that person do first? He shuts the external sense objects like Sparshan kritva bahir bahyam. Then what does it do? What does he do? Chakshus chaivantare bruvo. Chakshu, he just like completely focuses his eyesight, right? Focuses in the middle of both the eyebrows. He concentrates on the tip of the nose, that two half eyes closed, not completely full eyes closed. It's a half eyes closed. He does that. And then he's saying prana panau samau krutva. He's suspending the breath also, the inward and the outward breath also. He's controlling that too. Nasha prana panau samau krutva nasha bhayantara charino. He's controlling the breath. So by doing all these things, what does he attain? Yatendriya mano buddhir in the next sloka. Krishna says, so by all these things, he is controlling Yatendriya mano buddhir. He is controlling the senses, mind, and the intelligence. Munir moksha parayanaha. For what? For he is desiring for liberation, right? By doing all these controlling all these things, how he is controlling, he's just like focusing the one point focus in between both the eyebrows, tip of the nose, and he's focusing on that, shuts all the external sense attractions and all those things, and then he is controlling. So for what he's doing all these things, he is desiring for munir moksha parayanaha. He is desiring for liberation. Vigate cha bayakroda. Because of this, he is free from angry and also fear. He is not scared about anything. He is free from fear and also from anger. Yes, sada mukta evacha. This is the person, Krishna says, he is always in the state certainly in this type of person, he is in this state, certainly liberated state. That's what Krishna is saying here. So like all these yoga process, right, we are aiming for what? The complete yoga process, the main aim for all these things is to get liberated from what? Liberated from the cycle of birth and death. That is the goal of life, right? If we are not attaining the goal of life, then we are misusing this birth, what Krishna has given us. This human birth is very, 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 very precious. So if we are not utilizing this birth in the right way for attaining that liberation, then we are misusing this birth. So we have to aim for attaining that liberated states. That is the goal of life. Then if that happens, then we have made this human form sadhakam, right? Like you made use of this human form. So now, liberation in the supreme, what is Krishna saying, right? Like, let us summarize that. What is liberation in the supreme? How does it happen? First, when we start practicing this bhakti, when we start practicing bhakti itself, first thing what we understand, first thing what we realize, can anyone say? Any of the Mataji or Prabhu? First, what do we understand when we start practicing bhakti? Indra Mataji, do you want to answer? Kalya Mataji?
Um,
When we start practicing bhakti, what happens? The first thing.
Mataji, we realized, at least in my case, I realized that I was not able to fix my mind. My mind was wandering here and there, and it was all the time I had to control it and bring it back to my the mantra. So I still find it difficult
Yeah.
to stay focused.
Yeah, that is regarding the senses, Mataji. But what is your realization when you first started this bhakti process? What is the realization? We're trying to summarize liberation in the Supreme. Krishna is talking about that in this sloka.
Realization of goodness, a realization of belonging somewhere else.
Ha.
Truthfulness,
Ah.
like you want to give up all your nonsense sort of when you come into
Ah.
bhakti.
Ah. Okay, somehow that is correct. The first thing we realize that we are not this body. We are the soul. Super. We are the spirit soul, right? We understand that. We start practicing, then we understand who we are. We are part and parcel of Krishna. So that is the first understanding we get when we start practicing bhakti. Then the second one is we start understanding who is the supreme, right? Supreme Lord. Who is the Supreme Lord? That is the second thing we start understanding. Then the third is we start feeling the presence of the Supreme in each and every day, every step of our life. In various way we start realizing that the supreme presence is there in each and everything. That is the third step. And final step, we try to have that sakshatkaram, that darshan of the Lord. That is the steps here in the purport Prabhupada is very nicely giving us. So when we start practicing bhakti in different ways, like chanting and a lot of other stuff, reading the scriptures and taking prasadam, different angas of bhakti, everything. So when we start practicing bhakti, then this stage, the liberation in the supreme, that is easily attained. So Krishna conscious, therefore Krishna conscious, this process is very, very easy. That is the easiest process. Here we are talking about Ashtanga Yoga. Krishna is stressing more on Ashtanga Yoga in these two verses. So what happens when we start practicing bhakti? All these happens, right? First we understand who we are, and then we understand the supreme, and then we see his presence in each and everything, and then slowly, step by step, the realization happens over the steady process of bhakti, whatever like we are trying to follow every day, how much ever we are trying to spend for Krishna. So when that realization happens, finally we see the supreme Lord. This type of slow and steady realization comes eventually, and then the absolute truth is being realized. Lord Sri Krishna himself, right? That is being realized. So here, this is what Prabhupada is trying to explain us, the liberation in the supreme. Now here Krishna is talking about the Ashtanga Yoga. So Ashta is 8, right? And Anga is the limbs. So the 8 Angas, eightfold procedures of the Ashtanga Yoga, he is just he's not really getting into the depth of Ashtanga Yoga, where he's going to do in the 6th chapter. This is just a small intro. So the eightfold procedures we all know, right? Like Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and the last one is Samadhi. So these are the 8 different angas of Ashtanga Yoga. Yama and Niyama, the first two, those are do's and don'ts of the procedure. And then coming to asana, we all know in Kali Yuga, in nowadays, like it has become a fancy thing also, right? To do yoga, attend yoga classes. Yes, somehow it is good. Like when we have Krishna conscious in our heart and then do that, then it is okay. But just to reduce the weight and get healthy, when the mood is that, then that is different, right? So yeah, coming back to the point. So asana is like the different postures in which the other parts are being done, right? So that is asana. And pranayama, pranayama is a deeper technique to stabilize the mind and intelligence, how to control the breath, inward and outward, that comes under that. Then pratyahara, the way which a person withdraws his senses from all the sense objects around him, right? Pratyahara. Then dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, those three comes under same category. Those are all different stages of trance, but it varies from each other based on the time duration. Dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. Based on the time duration, they have categorized these three. So, whereas samadhi, when the time duration is more in that trance situation, then that is called samadhi. So, these are the eightfold angas of Ashtanga Yoga. Yama, niyama, those are the do's and don'ts, and asanas are the postures, and pranayama are the deeper technique for controlling the mind and intelligence, and pratyahara or the way which a person controls his senses from the different sense object, and dharana, dhyana, and samadhi is going in trance, which depends on the time period. So these are the 8 angas of Ashtanga Yoga. So how difficult is this Ashtanga Yoga, right? So let us here Prabhupada is giving us very nicely in the purport. One has to drive out the sense objects such as sound, touch, form, taste, and smell by pratyahara process in yoga, and then keep the vision of the eyes between the two eyebrows and concentrate on the tip of the nose with half closed lids. There is like we cannot completely close the eyes, because if we completely close the eyes we will fall asleep, and if we completely open the eyes, that is very big danger, right? We get attracted towards different sense objects around us. So neither this nor that, it has to be half closed, and it has to be concentrating on the tip of the nose, so that you know that what do you call that, concentration comes. Yeah. With half closed lids. There is no benefit in closing the eyes together, because then there is every chance of falling asleep. Nor is there benefit in opening the eyes completely, because then there is hazard of being attracted by sense objects. The breathing movement is restrained within the nostril by neutralizing the up moving and down moving air within the body. By practice of such yoga, one is able to gain control over the senses, refrain from outward sense objects, and thus prepare oneself for liberation in the Supreme. So, all these things, it is not very easy. After doing all these things, what is that one is trying to achieve, right? The liberation. So it helps to control the sense object and help. The second thing is controlling the senses first, and the second thing is controlling from the sense objects. And then when all these things happen, like slowly that person is in the liberated state. When he is in the liberated state, he sees the Lord, right? He sees the Lord, Paramatma form. So like he sees the Lord. When he sees the Lord, and when he feels that the Supreme is there in each and every activity and every part of him, then why is there a fear for him? He knows that Paramatma is there with him, then definitely there is no fear for him, right? And also he sees Paramatma in each and every living entity. So when he sees Paramatma in each and every living entity, whatever that person or that living entity is doing, he knows that it is not done by that living entity. It is being made, done by the Paramatma in him, right? So he understands that. When he is able to understand that, then there is no enmity for him, right? Like he doesn't feel jealous for anything. Oh, he's doing that. Oh, he got this. Nothing. He will not even get angry about that other person, because he sees Paramatma in each and everything and also in him. So that's why here in the shloka Krishna said, right, vigateja bayakrodho, that person who is in that liberated state, he is free from fear and also from angry. because he sees Paramatma in each and every step, in each and every person. So he has that higher realization. So, but it's not easy. This process, this 8 angas of Ashtanga Yoga, it is not at all easy. It really takes a long, long, long time. And we will know how tough it is when we come to the 6th chapter, when we see those verses, what Krishna says in the 6th chapter. Therefore, like when we see all these things, being Krishna conscious is the easiest process. How being Krishna conscious is the easiest process? What are we doing here? And in Krishna conscious, we are doing bhakti, right? What are we doing here? After following the angas, different angas of Ashtanga Yoga, at one stage the person is able to control his senses from the sense object, right? But whereas in Krishna conscious, what we do is we try to engage all our senses for Krishna, right? In the service of Krishna. When we are trying to engage all our senses for the service of Krishna, then we don't have to worry, because that is what the human form is like. Krishna has given us, and we are engaging the senses also. Krishna has given us, right? We have to use it. We go, oh, the senses are, Krishna has given us. Okay, no, don't use those senses. How is it possible? So, the easiest way, Krishna conscious, being Krishna conscious, using those senses for the service of Krishna, right? So, when that is being done and everything is taken care, Krishna, Rishi Kesha, he controls our senses. Whose control? We are trying to engage our senses to the service of Krishna, and our senses, we don't have to worry about controlling our senses. Just do our duty, right? Just serve Krishna, and our senses are being controlled by Rishikesha, Krishna itself. He will take care. He has given us that, and he will take care. Once when he is taking care, then what is the work for us? More than 50% of the job is done by Krishna itself. So it is very easy for us. Whereas Ashtanga Yoga, that is not at all easy. It's so tedious process, and it takes quite long. When compared to that, in this Kali Yuga, we have a very short period of time, and also our mati is also manda mati. We are not able to remember anything. We are not able to focus anything. So, like, how can we imagine to do that type of like tedious process, right? So Krishna conscious, being Krishna conscious, is the easiest way to attain Krishna, because we are trying to engage all our senses in the service of Krishna, and Krishna, the Rishikesha, he controls all our senses. We half of the job is done by him. What we have to do, we have to invest our time, a certain amount of our time every day, sincerely and seriously. How much we want to progress depends on us. When we do that, slowly our realization will happen, will manifest, and our progress in this spiritual journey will be steady. And even if it is slow, it's okay, but still it is steady, right? We will definitely attain the goal of life, right? Breaking the cycle of birth and death. So here the other thing is like practicing Krishna conscious. They say shusukam kartum avyayam. What are we doing? We are just like chanting happily, and we are chanting. If we want to chant alone, we are chanting. If not, we are chanting in association of the devotees. It is so nice to meet devotees and have the be in their association, and we are having prasad, Krishna prasadam. Are we just refraining our tongue and everything by not eating? No, we are happily feasting. I always like in the temple, wherever I go, the newcomers, whoever comes, always you're saying there is a festival, there is a festival. You guys are having a party all the time, you know. Yes, definitely, right? Krishna conscious, being in Krishna conscious is that we are chanting, we are like happily we are chanting the holy names of Lord. Happily we are having the prasadam and being in association of all the devotees. What else we need, right? So this is very, very easy. And Ashtanga Yoga, when you go, it's not like it has to be done alone in a secluded place. You cannot have a devotee association for doing Ashtanga yoga. So that is that's what Krishna is trying to insist here. How easy the bhakti yoga process is very, very easy and very, very blissful. So why Krishna is summarizing all this Ashtanga yoga here is, till now he has described about Nishkama Karma Yoga, right? He has described about different things about that. In that Nishkama Karma Yoga, what happens? A person's heart is cleansed, right? Now it is like a fertile land. First, all those. What do you call, all those things has to go malina, has dirt has to be cleansed. So now the heart is very clean and cleansed. Now it is ready to take what are the things, either jnana yoga or ashtanga yoga. But here Krishna is trying to stress how ashtanga yoga, how much greater ashtanga yoga than the jnana yoga, because you have that, you see the trance, you feel the trance after those steps, right? Like whatever, like we saw here, controlling the senses from the sense object, controlling the mind, and finally in that liberated state one attains all these things. So how much ashtanga yoga is greater than the jnana yoga, Krishna is stressing in this shloka. Now for the next shloka is going to be much more very, very interesting, which is the peace formula of the life. Let us see that in the coming classes too. So Ashtanga yoga, Krishna is giving us in depth in the 6th chapter. This is just a glimpse of a starting intro of that, what Krishna is telling to Arjuna. So Krishna conscious process is very, very easy. Being a devotee and chanting, feasting, and being in association with the devotees is such a blissful thing when compared to all these things. So bhakti yoga process is very simple and very blissful. Today's shloka is this, what Krishna is saying. Any doubts, Mataji's Prabhu, on this? You're please welcome. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhobhyavacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna Mantra ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna devotees. Mataji's, any doubts? Any discussion on this? Please welcome. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, that was an
Hare
excellent
Krishna to
Mataji. Thank you,
everybody.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mataji. It was very good class.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.